Hey guys, this is Robb Dedman with AgroTech USA. We're here today in Avon, South Dakota. We're with Gary Frank of Frank Farms, and boy, have we got some exciting stuff to talk about today. Gary, so Peter came to you this year, he said, Gary, I got this product called NutriCharge. I want you to look at it.
Yep.
And then he came to you with this idea that it's going to work on multiple crops. It's not specific to one crop. So you started out in April. You applied it onto some alfalfa.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. You applied 10 ounces per acre broadcast with some other products. And then you had, and this was on some old alfalfa, correct?
6-year and 7-year-old.
Tell us the story.
Well, the alfalfa is 6 years. We had on 3 fields. 2 of the fields are 6 years old and 1 is 7-year-old. So I thought, well, if we could try it on that and see if we can help untie what is ever probably, tie up in the soil a little bit, from what Peter had told me, the NutriCharge would help with that.
Right.
We sprayed it on foliar about April 14th.
Which, now let's clarify foliar. April the 14th, that alfalfa was mostly dirt.
Mostly dirt.
Very little leaf.
Yep.
So we had more soil contact than we did foliar contact.
And that's one of the reasons, yes, and that's one of the reasons I went on the older stands.
Okay.
Because the newer stands at that point in time were starting to get a lot of leaf to them ready. I just wasn't quite sure if we'd get down to the dirt.
Get to the dirt.
And I wanted to get to the dirt. So now the first cutting, we didn't notice a lot of difference, but as it takes time, I figured you wouldn't. Second cutting now on the 2 fields that we just have cut down right now, it looks to be, we have to bale it yet.
Right.
But it looks to be like it's going to outdo the first cutting by quite a little. It's hard to say how much yet just because we haven't baled.
But it's a significant amount
It
more.
looks like it's going to be a significant amount. And the 7-year-old stand that we put it on is an older stand, obviously, and I haven't seen that stand look that good for 2 years.
Yep.
It's almost like it rejuvenated it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to, after the, once Gary bales his hay up, he's going to get treated samples. He's going to get untreated hay samples. We're going to send those off. We're going to get this stuff tested, come back with a nutrient analysis, and we're going to be able to compare that. And we're going to have that information in this video when we put it out. So we see that we like it in here. What do we think happened there? We think that, number one, up here in your soils, sometimes you guys have a little bit of trouble getting potash to release. And that NutriCharge, when we put it down, it became the greater negative in the soil, tend to want to pull those potassium molecules off of those clay colloids. It had the charge to be able to pull those off, and it freed it up to get into that plant, into that alfalfa that you had. I feel like right now, that's probably where your biggest gain came from, is getting that increased potassium in the plant, along with, alfalfa uses phosphorus, but it's not an overly huge user of phosphorus. Yeah. And so I'm gonna bet my bets that when we get all this back, we're gonna see that potassium level to be right where we want it to be at.
Yeah, it looked taller, or it was taller, and then it looks leafier.
Yeah.
It does look a lot leafier.
A lot leafier.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a potash. That's definitely signs of increased potassium. Yep. But so let's move on to this, because this is exciting to me. So this is some corn. You guys planted it. It's a little late corn. It's some later corn up here. You ran a ½ gallon per ton on your O-grade fertilizer of NutriCharge. So you impregnated it on the fertilizer. Yep. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on, and we're going to talk about this because this is some pretty dramatic differences that we're seeing.
Yeah, this is actually into a tilled field. Sometimes we're no-till, sometimes we till. This is actually in a tilled side, and we thought, well, if we could help untie some stuff again and put it on right on the fertilizer, we want to try the NutriCharge that way.
Right.
And then so what we did on this particular field, I'm just going to read you off.
All right.
Kind of what we
Tell
did.
us what you did.
So I put 200 pounds of urea down, along with 75 pounds of AMS, 115 of MAP, and 25 pounds of potash.
Right. So you guys did, with all that urea, did y'all do the 3 pints or did y'all do the ½ gallon?
½ gallon.
½ gallon. Okay. So you applied the NutriCharge to the fertilizer. You spun on the fertilizer.
Yep, all spun on.
All right, and then you planted the corn. There's no in-first starters here, correct?
No.
No in-first starters.
No, there was no starter. It does have some Mariston product on there in the boxes.
In the boxes. So it had a hopper box treatment on it.
Yep.
But You know, it's what we see with NutriCharge typically is these big long roots, a lot longer than a check, a lot more root mass.
Yep.
This is the awesome part is look at the stalks. Look at that
Yep.
stalk diameter.
There's
Overall plant height's greater, and you know, I think there's a lot here to be said for what we got going on.
Yeah, well, you could see when you walked out there how much taller the treated was than the untreated. And if you look down here, you can see how the treated here has put down a pretty good set of brace roots and starting the second brace. And this one here hasn't even started the second brace yet.
Yep. So this plant's really good and going for nutrients right
really
now.
Going nice. Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be nice.
And it's important people realize the only difference here is NutriCharge treated fertilizer versus non-NutriCharge treated fertilizer.
That's the biggest thing.
And but it's really impressive. You know, we when we put that NutriCharge out there, we free up, not only are we freeing up all that extra phosphorus early for that plant to really grow, but we're freeing up that calcium. You guys have an abundance of calcium in this soil up here, but sometimes it's hard to get that calcium into the plant.
Yep.
And we definitely see by the, you know, you feel these and you can tell with the roundness of these stalks.
Yep.
That it's really picking up a lot of calcium. You know, these stalks are real round. These stalks are pretty oblong, so that to me is a sure indicator of calcium deficiency. And you know, there's a lot to be said here. I mean, I'm really happy with what we see. This is going to be exciting to see it go through the combine.
Yep.
This is going to be what we like to see at AgroTech. You know, I think it's going to be quite a bit of difference here. But
no, the roots look really good. I'm really impressed so far with it. I mean, from the road, you could tell from the road too, as we drove in the driveway, just right away, just the height of the corn and just the more foliage on it. It's just crazy.
It's going to be pretty exciting. Guys, here we are, Avon, South Dakota. We're getting ready to head towards the Hefty Field Days. Be sure you come see us there, which this will probably come out after the field day, obviously. But anyway, come see us. If you ever got questions, ideas, or comments, reach out to us at agrotechusa.com. Thanks, Gary. We appreciate your cooperation.